Why not start with the technical difficulty? My mic is muted. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NMI Sport Report. I'm so excited to be back with you guys. I know I fell off. My last recorded video I was watching again today was from November 23rd. I had told you guys the legendary story of my drive to Arizona and how I went down in the morning, came back at night, and the bookies were in piss. I did fall off. I can admit that I got busy with work. There was a lot going on at the time, the holidays. I didn't cover the playoffs for you guys, and I meant to cover hockey, NFL playoffs, and the start of the MLB season. We're back now, and hopefully I can be with you guys for the remainder of this season. We're starting season 2 today of the NFL of the NMI Sport Report, as well as we will be covering hockey, and I will get into baseball playoffs starting the end of this month and the beginning of playoffs of next month. So I'm excited for that. And let's just jump right in. So I want to talk about what we missed. So the last time I was with you guys was right before playoffs were starting. Usually about the time the playoffs are starting, teams start to play a lot better. We see them firing on all cylinders. They're really trying to make it their life to make it to the playoffs. I had told you guys that story. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It's on Spotify and YouTube. But we had a great playoffs, great Super Bowl. The Rams, they had an amazing run. Did not see that coming. I thought the Niners were going to take that division, and the Rams almost took over the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. So that was a great playoffs. The Packers did their thing, got rid of the Cowboys as usual. I was just happy the Chiefs didn't repeat. But I was in Vegas. It was my second annual Super Bowl trip to Vegas. And I had a blast. I was with my brother Patrick. We did some sports gambling. We did some table play. And we both had a good time. I win or lose. I did lose on the tables, but I won on the books. So it was kind of hit or miss. To start the trip, I was firing on the tables. The books, I was taking care of business. I had a huge hockey parlay, won about $850. I had another hockey parlay that I won $350 off of. I had a UFC play that I won $250 off of. And then come Sunday for the Super Bowl, I won about $1,000. I took the Eagles alternate spread. I think the Chiefs were favorited to start the game at minus a point. I took an alt spread of the Eagles. I just had a feeling that they were going to win. I took a minus 2.5 for plus money. Probably could have done more as we see how the game turned out. But not count my blessings because that was a win. A win is a win. We'll take it every time. But the tables, let me tell you guys, one of the things I need to learn is when to walk away and when to get on a table and when not to. There was a couple times I got on there while I was pretty sauced, and that's where the majority of my money was lost. I get overconfident, start throwing down some big bets, and it goes down the drain like that. So let me tell you, I did learn my lesson from that time, but it was a fun trip overall. I did put in a pretty crazy slip I want to talk to you guys about real quick to update you on that. The Super Bowl was a great game. I was paying attention to the first quarter on the blackjack table. Second quarter rolls around, starting to kind of lose my focus. And then I hopped on the craps table and didn't even finish the game. Check up every once in a while or hear everyone cheering at the tables. And it was a one-sided game. So, but I'm glad to see Mahomes took a loss in the Super Bowl. They're still a great team, but it was just nice to see someone else finally do it. So let me talk about this slip real quick for you guys. I had put in a futures championship winner slip. I took a NHL winner for the Stanley Cup. I took a NBA winner for the NBA Finals. I took a World Series winner for baseball, and I took a Super Bowl winner for this next season. So, for the season we're on right now. This includes the Panthers. Shout out my brother Patrick for that one. Me and him talked about it. I was like, hey, realistically, who's winning the Stanley Cup? He's more of the hockey mind, but I do pretty well in hockey myself. But we were between a couple teams, and you know what? I took a risk. He said, let's go with the Panthers. I jumped on the Panthers at plus 1,200. I believe this is the time when Brad Marchand was hurt. or Brad Marchand wasn't on the team yet. Matthew Tkachuk was hurt. So they were still like maybe outside of 10 teams to win the Stanley Cup, and they came back and did it. That was legendary. I got them at plus 1,200, so huge part of the slip. I got of course, the two lowest juiced legs to win. I was the most worried about. I had the Thunder at plus 245. They were favorites. I was kind of in between the Celtics and the Thunder. Ended up going with the Thunder. Great decision. I mean, there was a lot of injuries, but gosh, Halliburton almost sold the slip. I feel bad that the kid got injured. I wish him a speedy recovery and a great next season. But wow, the Pacers had the chance to knock off the Thunder, ruin my slip, and Halliburton was the key part of that. That team played on friendship and hope, and they made it all the way to the finals. Almost knocked off the Thunder, and luckily we did cash out the Thunder championship winner, so that was positive. But here we go with the sweatiest leg of my slip, the Baseball World Series winner. I took the Dodgers. I'm a little worried right now, starting to sweat. It's getting towards the end of the season. They're about third place, I think, in the NL, but they're so hit or miss. They can beat a great team, but lose to the worst of them. Their bullpen still very injured right now. I'm hoping over this next month we start to see some pitchers come back. Ohtani, he's pitching again, so that's positive. We have another pitcher added to the bullpen, but the Dodgers are scaring me. They were first place for most of the season, starting to drop down because you got the Phillies on an absolute run. You have the Brewers on an absolute run. I think they went on a 15 or 16 game win streak not too long ago, about a month ago. On the American League side, you have the Blue Jays and the Tigers up in the top 1 and 2. So a little worried about that. And I may have to start hedging come baseball playoffs. If I have to, I will start to think about, okay, do I start hedging? Realistically, are the Dodgers going to make it? Should I start betting all my funds on maybe the Phillies on one side, either the Phillies or the Brewers? I'm liking the Brewers a lot. They're rolling, and maybe the Blue Jays on the other side. But there's still a chance, just getting sweaty down to the wire. So Dodgers offense, I need them to pick it up. Their bullpen, I need them to start getting healthy, start picking it up, and we have potential. Now the last leg is the Ravens. I have full faith that after all they've gone through last season with that first game versus the Chiefs, that game versus the Bills with the Mark Andrews catch, they are so due. Lamar, he's one of my favorite players, and I really want to see him do it. So hopefully they can pull it off. This slip with the 4 championship winners is $25 to win $29,400. So we're praying that the Dodgers get it together, the Ravens have a good season, and hopefully we can bring that home because I have some plans that I want to do with that money and maybe take some time off work, get some things accomplished. But yeah, right now that's our championship winner slip. I did win my Survivor League. That was a huge chunk of change, which was nice. I got second place in one Dynasty League and middle of the pack in the other. So fantasy wasn't the best to me, and it's always those last couple games of fantasy playoffs when your teams, the players, they just start to fall off. You're hoping that Derrick Henry has an amazing game and he goes 7 rushes for 40 yards, and you're like, I can't control that. And it's like it sucks, but that's what happened in the league that I finished middle of the pack, and then it was a great championship game that I came in second, won a little money off that, so can't complain. But overall, great ending to the season. I apologize I couldn't give you guys tips and who to take and everything about that. I did make quite a bit of money during the NHL and NBA playoffs, but I learned my lesson. NBA, I'm staying away from until the playoffs each and every year. This year, I mean, I'll talk about bets, but I need to stay away from it. It's just not a profitable sport for me. The NHL is probably my most profitable sport besides the NFL. So I will be keeping you guys up to date on that. And like I said, I'll have my brother on here as a special guest a lot this season. I'll have some other people during the NFL season to talk about fantasy, talk about matchups, just talk about how the season's going in general. So we'll get that done. And then also my jersey purchases this last season, pretty questionable, but with the Survivor League, I had gotten a Lamar jersey. I had gotten a Bryce Young jersey, which is honestly funny. He's not a great player, and we'll see how this season goes for him. He did pick it up towards the end, and I only got it because the Panthers helped me win my Survivor League, and I thought it'd be just a hilarious jersey to have. So I got a Bryce Young jersey, and then I had to go with the Buccaneers as well. They also helped me win the Survivor there at the end, and I went with the GOAT, Mike Evans. I think he's got 10 years straight of 1,000-yard season. So let's see if he could do it again. I hope he does, but with Emeka Egbuka on the team, this could go south fast. He even did it with an injury last season. So respect to him. But those are my jersey purchases that I got this last season just from winnings and stuff like that. But I'll get more this season. I need to definitely get a Drake May jersey and some other ones of some other players. But yeah, let's hopefully have a good season. Now let me go. We went playoffs that we missed, Super Bowl. We missed the NHL and NBA playoffs and stuff, but we talked about the winners. Like I said, I hit those, and then we'll go into the draft. So the NFL draft, I thought was very quiet this year. There's not a lot of huge names that came out of it. We'll see what comes about it. I mean, you never know. Like, there's plenty of players on there that could have some serious upside on their teams, but I had wrote down just like the names of the first round that I think will do pretty well this season and how they played on Sunday and yesterday. So go over those guys real quick. I don't really want to cover the other rounds just due to the fact that I don't really see any of those guys starting, or they're linemen. They're not having huge amounts of upside like in their games. I'll talk about the skill players, and there's a couple linemen I have from the first round I want to talk about. But yeah, it was like a very quiet draft. And Shedeur Sanders, it was just funny to see him go so late. The Browns quarterback room is, I don't know what they're doing there. They got 5 quarterbacks and no idea who they're going to start. Is Shedeur going to play? Is Dylan Gabriel going to play? What's going on with that quarterback room? We may see Massage Watson come back. So I don't know. We'll see. This season's got a lot of questions for me, but we'll go over the draft real quick. Cam Ward, first overall. He went on Sunday, 12 of 28 for 112 yards at a 54.5 quarterback rating. Not bad. My whole thing is that the receivers were dropping a lot. I think he was putting the ball on him. He looked really good, but the Broncos defense is good. I think that's what kept the Broncos in it. Broncos played horrible. That was a sweaty game, and we'll get into that later about with betting because I don't know. It could have been bad, but I did pretty well with the betting, but we'll get into that later. Cam Ward, he looked pretty good. Travis Hunter, not a bad game. That he could have done more, especially how dominant the Jaguars were against the Panthers. I think he definitely could have done a little bit more, but he went 6 of 33 yards, 6 catches, 33 yards on 8 targets. Not a bad share right there. He could have done a little bit better, possibly a touchdown, but Trevor Lawrence has always been hit or miss, so we'll see how he does this season. Abdul Carter, our first D lineman, he went 3rd overall. He did have a sack, 1 solo tackle, and 2 assisted tackles. Not bad for a start, but the Giants, I don't know, they went against a pretty decent squad in the Commanders, so it's all right game for starting out. I don't expect anything huge out of any of these rookies, by the way. It was their first game in the NFL. Huge level change. You're getting the best of the best college players that went to the NFL, and you're playing them now. So I don't expect a whole lot. There were some good performances. There were some bad performances, but like I said, we'll get into it. Will Campbell, he went against Max Crosby most of the game. The Patriots were one of my only losses this weekend, and that was more a biased pick. I probably should have picked the Raiders knowing that the Patriots weren't going to have a great game. But just because my team, I did bet on them, and that's all right. Max Crosby only had 1 sack. So for as dominant as that guy is, I think Will Campbell held his own. He did his job and limited Drake May to the sacks from Max Crosby, which is awesome. So I love to see that. We just need some more offense or some more chemistry going on there, and hopefully we can see the Patriots do a lot better. I expect them to honestly make playoffs with the coaching that they have, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm biased towards them. That's my team. I'm thinking they may do it, but we'll see. I just need them to pick it up on offense. The defense could use some work, but we'll see how that goes. Ashton Jeanty, he went to the Raiders, played the Patriots defense, and went 19 rushes of 38 yards and 2 catches on 2 targets for 2 yards, as well as a touchdown. Respect to the kid for getting a touchdown his first game. Travis Hunter didn't do it, so Ashton Jeanty did. He got a touchdown, but 19 carries on 38 yards. I don't know if that was the Patriots defense doing their job or the Raiders O-line needing work, but congrats to the kid getting a touchdown. Like I said, the rookies, I expect a little bit more. Not necessarily about where he came from, because Boise State, they had I would say, an easy schedule. He's a dominant player, but to go to the NFL and expect a huge performance out of him was not the right thing to do. So, I mean, he did all right. Could have probably got more rush yards on 19 carries, but he got a touchdown, so that's all that matters. Ted McMillan, he went to the Panthers. 5 catches on 9 targets for 68 yards. I like that he got his yardage on 5 catches. That's pretty good. No touchdown out of him, but the Panthers, Bryce Young played horrible. He could not hit his guys. They couldn't produce any offense. He was distracted most of the game. And I don't know if it's the Jaguars defense that played amazing or if Bryce Young just needs to get back in his groove. Because we saw at the end of last season that he started to play a little bit better, sitting behind Dalton most of the season. And he came around and played a lot better. So this was game 1. Like I said, it's really hard to make predictions. It's really hard to make assumptions based on one game. We saw a lot of upsets last year, but this year it wasn't looking like that. Tet played all right. Colson Loveland, who played last night, 2 catches on 2 targets for 12 yards. Didn't expect a whole lot out of him. I think that they have, based on their receiving room, they have all the receivers that they have for a reason, and they did that for Caleb Williams to make those plays. He didn't target the tight ends. I think out of 3 total targets, Colson Loveland got 2 of them, and Kmet got 1 of them for that big play there at the end for 31 yards. Not horrible, but also not great. So welcome to the league, Colson. Tyler Warren, he played, I think, the best out of the rookies. Actually, hold that thought. There's the next guy played the best, but Tyler Warren, he went to the Colts as a tight end. He went 7 of 76 on 9 targets, which that's an elite performance from a tight end, but the Colts just looked dominant against the Dolphins. That was my favorite play this weekend, was the Colts going up against the Dolphins. I had no doubt in my mind they were going to take that game. So good on him, boosting his confidence early. He looks like Brock Bowers did last season. So we'll see how that plays out. I think the Colts could be sneaky good. Daniel Jones, I've never thought he was a bad player. I just think the team he was on was bad. The New York Giants have done nothing to improve that offense and even help out Daniel Jones. So I hope he has an absolute revenge year this year on the Colts. They make it to the playoffs, and he can show them the middle finger come the end of the season to the Giants. So Tyler Warren, great game. Emeka Egbuka, drafted the Buccaneers. He went on 6 targets. He had 4 catches of 67 yards. And out of those 4 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns. Kid had an absolute game. And I think he played the best out of the rookies just based on yardage and touchdown performance. I was mainly going off of that. If I was looking at how players played, I think Emeka had the best performance for sure. 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 67 yards. So he was towards the top of the pack for yardage. He led the rookies in touchdowns and catches. I mean, out of 6 targets, not bad. So four catches on 6 targets, pretty good. Omarion, it was between him and Jeanty, who were going to be the better of the running backs. Now, Omarion, he's got a better O-line behind the Chargers. They upgraded their O-line, and he went on 15 carries, got 48 yards, and on 2 catches, 13 yards. played a little bit better than GT, but like I said, I give him the benefit of the doubt because Raiders O-line is not as great as the Chargers O-line. So they're going to play each other, I believe, this weekend. We'll get into that matchup later, but should be a good game. Omarion, all right performance. I needed him for a touchdown on Friday night. He missed, but that's all right. We still made money. And lastly, Matthew Golden. He went to the Packers as a wide receiver. He got 2 total targets on 2 catches, so 100% on that for 16 yards. So average about 8 yards a catch. What sucks is the Packers have so many receivers. I think they have about 7 or 8 receivers that can start, and you only can start 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them. So they just have such a big wide receiver room. We'll see if Matthew Golden can get target share this season. Jaden Reed is always on and off the IR and getting hurt. So, I mean, there's a spot right there. They just can't stay healthy over in Green Bay, the receivers. So, I mean, Matthew Golden later this season could be potentially a sneaky pickup. So, out of the rookies, if you haven't drafted any or if they're still available in your fantasy league, I would definitely go with Tyler Warren, Ted McMillan. If you could get your hands on Cam Ward, he could be sneaky good, but I don't know. The Titans need to upgrade that offense. Emeka Egbuka, he played phenomenal. Like I said, best rookie performance this weekend. Matthew Golden, maybe if we see some injuries on the Green Bay, pick him up for your fantasy team because that could be a great pickup. Moving on, I want to talk about fantasy. I lost out on one of my dynasty leagues. It got deleted. I don't know what was happening, if it was just due to people not playing, if it was a money thing. I don't know what was going on, but the league got deleted. Out of my knowledge, I texted the commissioner and they started a new one. I didn't get invited to that one, and I wanted the draft. They tried to just hand me a team, and I didn't want it. So I am only on 1 dynasty and 1 redraft this season. My redraft is looking good. Started the week 1-0. I won by 0.9 points, so I snuck out a dub right there. My dynasty matchup, I lost by 21, but I had who was it? Jerry Jeudy played all right. I forget who I had. Terry McLaurin. He lost me the game for sure. I think he had 6 points. I definitely could have won that matchup this week. Emeka Egbuka sitting on my taxi squad could have been playing. I had some other players that should have been up and playing, but I had them sitting on the bench. So I did lose off my own mistakes. I had the resources, I had the players to win, just lost. So 1-1 in fantasy. It's only week 1. There's plenty of football to go. Season predictions. I'll get into those real quick. I should have dove in. Probably made a small episode last week for you guys, but makes it a little bit easier having seen week 1 that I can get into my division winners, conference winners, and Super Bowl winners. But I did place a conference winner slip last week before the season started. So that way we can talk about what I saw last week versus what I saw this week. So as far as Super Bowl winners, you guys should know already, I am high on the Ravens. Their week 1 game, up 15 with 4 minutes left. Absolutely embarrassing. Derrick Henry never fumbles. For him to fumble was very rare. I think that's what cost them the game. They gave the Bills great field position. And then on top of that, it was pretty sad to see that they had that 1 touchdown. Josh Allen threw in the end zone. He threw it to, I believe, Coleman, but the tight end or somebody tipped it in the air and it went back to him and still made it to him. So that was honestly a pretty lucky catch. Congrats to the Bills. I mean, I could have won more than I did this weekend if it wasn't for that game, but it was a great game overall. I hate to see the Ravens be so dominant throughout all of the game and give it up with 4 minutes left. If I'm the Ravens, I'm coming out of that game thinking we still can win the Super Bowl because they played absolutely dominating performance versus the Bills. But if I'm the Bills, I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to do to change? Like that could have been if I'm the head coach, if I'm the owner, if I'm the players, I'm thinking like, wow, like we did everything we could to win that game, but also there was a miracle, there was some luck, there was some hope. So that was a crazy game. But again, like I said, I'm still very high on the Ravens. They just need to close out games. They gotta limit the choking. They got to close these games out because it's what's really going to matter come the playoffs and Super Bowl. So I hope they can do it. We'll get into who I think is going to win, the conferences, the divisions, stuff like that. So I had put in a slip on one of my new books. It was $25 to win $20,000. And this is including the Chargers to win the AFC West. I have the Eagles taking the NFC East, the Falcons to take the NFC South. They got snubbed on Sunday, which I have mixed feelings about, but we'll get into that later. The Niners to win the West, which that's going to be tight with the Rams. The Lions to win the North. That could have been a donation because I think the Packers, after watching them Sunday, have it in the bag. It sucks that Ben Johnson didn't stay with the Lions. I think that could have been a potential Super Bowl opponent against the Ravens if Ben Johnson would have stayed O coordinator and they kept both their coordinators. But lack of knowledge going into this slip, knowing that there's a new offensive and defensive coordinator, I took the Lions, which I think this slip is chalked. The Bills to win the AFC East should be free. The Texans to win the AFC South. It's going to be competitive against the Jaguars. They got a good team this year, but I think they can pull it off. And lastly, the Ravens to win the North. Also a tough division going against some expert coaching on the Steelers. The Bengals could be sneaky good, can compete with them. But like I said, Ravens need to close out games. They have potential to go 16-1 after this loss on Sunday, but we'll see. It's going to be a tight race. So that's the slip I put in last week with my division winners. For the conference, I think it might be an Eagles Ravens, a Bird Bowl come Super Bowl. I think it'll be the Eagles and the Ravens, but Eagles defense didn't look amazing. So we'll see how that ends up. They're playing the Chiefs this week, which I'm excited for, a little Super Bowl matchup again, rematch. I am worried about the Falcons. The Bucks have been good as of late. Last season they were great, and this year I think with Penix and Bijan, I think the Falcons can pull that off. The Niners, it's going to be competitive, going against the competing for that spot with the Rams, but I think the Niners can do it. CMC back and healthy. They got so many injuries last season that they just got pushed out of it, but I think they can do it. I think they can do it this year. The Lions, like I said, is probably my most sweaty pick. It's going to be the one that's going to be, I don't think it'll hit. At this point, after watching the games this weekend, we can see the Lions, probably the Lions and Bears, the bottom of that division, and Packers on top, Vikings below that, Lions, and then Bears. But that was my initial bet. And then I put one in on, let's see, yesterday. I put one in yesterday. This one was $10 to win almost 1,500, 1,461. And this is with the Jags now as the AFC South instead of the Texans. Ravens the same for the North. The Chargers still for the West, and Bills still for the East. That's the AFC. For the NFC, I then took the Bucks to win the South, the Niners to win the West, which maybe I should have went with the Rams on this slip, the Packers to win the North, and Eagles to win the East, which it's a little bit of a different slip, but either one that hits, I'm cool with, as long as we see a Ravens Super Bowl win, okay? That's all I need. Now, as far as conferences, I really do. I think the Eagles Packers are going to be one of the conference winners. Maybe we get the Bird Bowl, little Eagles Ravens action for Super Bowl. And then for at least for the AFC, I could see a Bills Ravens rematch come the AFC Conference Championship. So we'll see how that plays out. But like I said, nothing else matters besides a Ravens Super Bowl win. That's all we're hoping for. So that's to get into season predictions. I'll move on quick here to week one recap. Don't have a lot to talk about. Probably just talk about the bigger of the games this weekend. I went 14-2 overall. Not bad at all. I thought that the Ravens would have closed out, could have put me at 15-1 on picks this weekend, but I went 14-2. One of my losses being the Patriots because of bias. I probably should have just went with the Raiders knowing their track record, but I went one loss with the Patriots, one loss with the Baltimore Ravens. I think the biggest games this weekend, we had Eagles Cowboys. I took either Eagles straight up, or I was telling people Cowboys +8. Either one you would have covered and won that bet. But like I said, predicted the winner. Cowboys played pretty good. It's my least favorite team in the league, but listen, they played pretty good. I like what I saw. CD at the end kind of fell apart, but pretty good game overall to start off the season. On Friday, I think the Chargers were underdogs, and I took the Chargers on the money line, which was free. I was trying to take them alt spread minus points because no matter what, saw the Chargers winning that game. The Chiefs, it's going to take them a second to get a rhythm back, but I think they could possibly sneak out a win this week against the Eagles. Great Friday game in Brazil. Moving on to Sunday, some of the better games are Ravens Bills. Like I said, that was one of my only losses. I was very upset about that. The Packers, no doubt win. That was easy pick. The Rams, they had me sweating. I wasn't able to watch the ending of it because I had a baseball game, but very good game from what I heard. Puka scared me in the beginning, getting hurt, coming out of the game, and I think we needed him to win that matchup. The Broncos, they had me sweating all throughout the whole game. Cam Ward played pretty decent, but Bo Nix, man, coming off of last season, what are we doing? He threw 2 interceptions. I think he gave up a fumble and had a 60 quarterback rating. He went 25 of 40, almost like 50% completion percentage. Just had a horrible game. Luckily, towards the end there, they started to find their running backs, which I really needed because Bo Nix was not getting the job done. But that one was sweaty. I think all the 1 o'clock games had me in shambles, but the Broncos pulled it off. I had them on the money line. I honestly could have told you that the Titans would cover 8 or 9 points. Thought about taking it, but it was too close for comfort. They did cover if you got them at 8.5 or 9, but if you got them at 8, it would have been a push or less. Broncos would have covered. The Niners, going into that game, I was going to take the Seahawks, but I stayed off of it. That was one of the games I stayed off betting on parlays, but I still predicted a winner. I took the Niners. And then moving on, Buccaneers, they were 0-2, I believe, last season to the Falcons. They were so due. That game could have gone into overtime if it wasn't for Young Ho Koo, his kick to miss the field goal and Buccaneers to win. Amika, like I said, rookie performance of the week goes to him for sure with 2 touchdowns. They played pretty good. I had no doubt that Buccaneers would probably pull it off, being 0-2 last season against them. This season to start off the NFL season, they did it. So Bengals, sweaty W. I had them on 3 or 4 different parlays for this weekend, and to win by 1 point, I'm so glad I didn't take the spread. I was seeing everywhere. A lot of people were on the Browns +5.5, which would have hit. I would have given that out as a play as well, but Bengals money line touched it up, got a good dub out of that. Jaguars and Colts, my 2 most confident picks of the weekend, won without a doubt. The Cardinals, I think I was losing hair towards the end of that game. The Saints, I don't know if it was the Cardinals defense. Maybe I had too much hope in the Cardinals, or maybe the Saints maybe I thought that they were a lot worse than they actually are, because at the end there, they almost tied the game to go into overtime, or if they would have tied the game and got a 2-point, they would have won. And I think I had Cardinals -4 on one slip, Cardinals minus money line on other slips, but that was scary there at the end. I'm glad they pulled that off. The Steelers, another absolutely stressful game. They finished 34-32 against the Jets. Rodgers playing his ex team, Fields playing his ex team. It was going to be an absolute cinema of a game. I was stressed up until the end. Aaron Rodgers, 4 passing touchdowns. Congrats to the kid. Maybe we see an MVP out of his last year, but that was a sweaty game. That was the same time as the Cardinals game, and I'm sitting there pulling hair out of both sides of my head, just going crazy. I didn't know what to expect. I was very worried because, again, I had Steelers on a couple of my slips as well. So whenever it's like coming down the wire or the last leg, it's always a little bit scary. And then lastly, Commanders Giants, that was easy dub. I can see the Commanders pulling it off. People are talking about possible sophomore slump out of Jaden Daniels. but I hope we don't see it. I think the kid's going to be good again. He reminds me a lot of Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, like some of my favorite players over the years. That Jane Daniels can be sneaky good. We'll get into their matchup in a little bit here. And lastly, the game yesterday. Another. Gonna take a deep breath real quick. Absolute sweat. I went over to my buddy's house, who is a Bears fan. On the way there, or before the game started in the morning, I put $500 on the money line of the Vikings, or maybe the -1. But either way, that's a money line bet right there. -1 spread. But I took the Vikings for 500. Before I went to my friend's house to watch this game, he texted me and said, "Let's bet 50 on it." And I said, "Okay." So I'm putting down 550 down on this game, and I'm sweating. Game starts. I'm thinking, okay, JJ McCarthy just needs a quarter, maybe two to warm up. We'll be fine. Vikings defense will hold their own. The Bears are always going to be the Bears, the classic Bears. They got new coaching. I this game, I'm thinking I'm back in coaching and I'm back in the defense, right? I'm going to take Kevin O'Connell. I'm going to roll with the Flores Vikings defense, and we're going to get an easy dub. Well, I was sweating, pulling out some of my hair doing that too with the amount of money I had on the line. As soon as the third quarter rolled around, I could see a flip in momentum. I could see JJ McCarthy was starting to find guys. I could see the defense making stops, and Caleb Williams was starting to piss down his leg. It was honestly such a miracle performance for them to come back. JJ McCarthy with the touchdowns all in the fourth quarter just was cinemas. And I started to talk shit to my friend right around the third quarter, end of halftime, when he completed that pass to kick a field goal through the uprights for Will Reichard. Give him some credit. We couldn't have done it without him. But I started to talk shit. And after Justin Jefferson's touchdown, I'm hitting a gritty in the living room. I'm looking over at him, just start to chirp. And they're still down, mind you. I was talking shit when they were down. They come back and just absolute, it was all coaching there at the end. Not only that, Caleb Williams, wide open DJ Moore, missed him in the end zone. That was pathetic. It was a great game. And then one of the guys that I talked to about betting, he does this for a living. He has some of his bets and stuff that he tries to post, tries to charge people for premiums. I talk to him every once in a while about picks, but he texted me midday and said, Bears money line. And I loved Bears money line Sunday night. I loved Bears money line Monday morning. Come right around noon on Monday, after everything that I was thinking about and where to go with this pick, I'm going Vikings money line. Place that $500 bet. He sends me, oh, it's Bears money line. And I do trust the guy with picks sometimes. But based on my record of the week, I was, I think, 13-2 up until this game. So I was like, I'm trusting my gut. I know who to go for. I had picked right thus far. Let's keep it rolling. I place that. He texts me, and I tell him. I said, I already got the Vikings money line. One of us will win. Good luck. Then he was going in and saying, like, dude, it's JJ, the game manager, McCarthy. And I said, I know. But here, listen to this. I'm back in coaching and I'm back in defense. What do we look at in the New England Patriots? I mean, Tom Brady ran that offense for years, but Bill Belichick and that Patriots defense was a lot of the reason that that team was such a dynasty. I always back defense and I always back coaching experience over an elite offense. Because if we look at it yesterday, Bears, I think, had the better offense. They have a lot more weapons. They have a more experienced quarterback. They didn't allow Caleb Williams to get sacked. I think he started to get sacked there at the end once the momentum shifted. But that was a crazy game. But I had texted him. I was like, listen, if you put me at quarterback for the Vikings, I think I could be successful just because of the coaching experience. The quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell. It was an absolute game, very sweaty. To go from Sunday night primetime Bills Ravens to we're thinking it's going to be a horrible game between the Vikings and Bears, and it ended up turning out to be an amazing game. Great primetime games this weekend, but for week one, I think we got a well-deserved week one to start the season. Not a lot of upsets, which I'm happy for. As far as money made, I had made money on Thursday night with the Eagles. Also, Cowboys spread. I had taken the Chargers straight up, playing with house money. I go down Saturday with college football and UFC. I just started to tank. So all the money I had won Thursday, Friday went back down Saturday. College football, I need to stop betting on because I don't pay enough attention to it, as well as I'm at work for 12 hours on a Saturday. I can't watch the games, but I go down Saturday. UFC, there was a one upset that messed up one of my slips. And then Sunday morning, I'm running to the store 9 o'clock in the morning, get home about 9:30, 9:45, getting my Survivor League picks in, getting my slips in for the day. I just started throwing money just each and every direction. Like, oh, I need to come back. I'm gonna bet on this game. I'm gonna take this slip. Start putting out money. Well, come closer to the Ravens game, I was up $1,100. So I had hit all my plays up until the Ravens game. Lost a little out on the Patriots. Could have been up more if I would have taken the Raiders, but I'm sitting at 1,100. If the Ravens pulled it off, I would have won another $400. So they messed up one of my slips. And yesterday on that game, I bet the 500 plus the 50 against my buddy. So came out on top about 480 on top of that. So on the week, close to $1,600 win. So let's clap it up. That's more than some people make in 2 weeks. And I made it in a cool 24 hours. So great week. Bet in the NFL. We're so back. I can't wait for NHL to start as well because I profit the most, I think, in NHL and NFL. But 14-2 record, absolute cinema of a week. Now, let me talk about, before we get into week two, I do want to talk about some opportunities if anyone is interested in betting, because I will be putting player props, my picks on our Instagram. If any of you guys have the Instagram, go follow it at NMI Sport Report. You can DM us, ask us for picks. We'll be posting them on the story, as well as if you have my personal number, shoot me a call. If you have my Instagram, Dylan Code 3, DM me on there. Call me, text me, whatever you need to do. I will give up picks. Sometimes I forget to post them. Sometimes I kind of just go word of mouth. If I see somebody or if I talk to them about a game, it's word of mouth picks as well. But hit me up. If you guys need picks, hit me up. I'll try my best to be posting everything that I put in on the Instagram. But as far as monetary opportunities, in California right now, we see that like typical sports books, FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, all the big ones, they're still technically not legal here, so we can't use those books. But Robinhood, they just added in future contracts on games. I noticed I had, because I have a Robinhood account, and you can do like future contracts. You can buy a certain amount of contracts out on a football team now. I had buying power of $5 going into Thursday because most of my money, it's all in stocks. But I had $5 of buying power. I don't know what I was saving that for. Maybe I wanted to reload, put it in other stocks. But I was like, hey, let me check out the Robinhood contracts. I put it on Eagles, made 9. Put it on the Chargers, made 15. And then last night I put it on the Vikings. I turned my $5 buying power into $50 because you can do contracts now and you can put those contracts to use, flip some buying power, now put them into stocks. And there you go. There's an investment opportunity right there. Like I said, I'll help you guys out as much as I can with picks. If you guys need help, there's ways to make money. Robinhood. Now going into Underdog, they added a new, most of the apps are calling it sweepstakes now instead of like sports gambling or money lines and stuff. You can still bet the money lines, but they're doing it as like a crypto future or like a Robinhood, like a future contract. So you guys can make money picking the right team each week. And like I said, hit me up, check our Instagram, follow me on my personal account, the podcast account, and we'll get you those winners. Start flipping your money. You got Underdog, Robinhood. We have, if you guys want to do player props, you can do it on Underdog, Sleeper, Prize Picks, and there's hundreds of other ones. But I will give you guys a tip. I don't really do the player props on those apps because you have to do 2 people from 2 separate teams. But there's ways to make money. Do the 2 people. Don't stretch it into a 5-6 person slip because you're going to start missing on 1 or 2 of them. If you do 2 people, or say you have 6 picks, do 2, 2, and 2. You got 3 slips now. You're bound to go maybe 2 for 3 or 1 for 3, and you either broke even, made money. I doubt you're going to go 0 of 3, but I would just say that. Oh, hold on, I lost you guys. There we go. I would just say that you should probably do the 2-person slips. It's the best thing for you. Let me send a text. Pause you guys real quick. I just have to do something. Okay. All right, guys. Um, so getting back into it. So you got sleeper, prize picks, underdog. Like I said, only do the 2-person slips. Don't go more than that. Potential to lose. Okay. Now, the two that they just added to California, which I think are brilliant. Fliff they actually had last season, but the new one that one of my friends put me on is Onyx. So there's Onyx odds and Fliff. I'll put my referral codes in the link in our bio on YouTube. If you need them, I'll post them on my Instagram as well. You guys can go sign up. Right now, Onyx Odds is offering, if you deposit $10, you get $100 in free play. And when you sign up, and the way around it not being a sports book, and it's totally legal in California, is that it's a sweepstakes that they give you free funds and that they don't guarantee you a win, but it's like a sweepstakes instead of a bet. I I don't know how they work around that, but that's how Fliff and Onyx work. So, and you can deposit them like regular. What's cool about Fliff is you can deposit them into gift cards or into actual cash back in your bank account. Same thing with Onyx. I started with my free play last week before the NFL season started on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. One of my buddies sent me his referral code. I signed up, got my $100 free play. I had put in the conference winner slip with that $25 play, as well as using some of it to start betting. Started with my $10 deposit and ended the week on Onyx with 200. I could pull that out today, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna just keep rolling it over. What's cool is there's no minimum bet. You can bet $1, you can bet 50 cents, you can bet the max amount in your account, whatever it is, as well as if you don't want to use the money that they have on there, if you don't want to use that $10, they give you coins. So you have the option to bet your Fliff Cash or Onyx Cash and make actual money. Or if you just want to do it for fun, keep track and maybe start practicing, you can use the coins. Fliff offers free coins every day, as well as Onyx. They give you free coins to bet with. Again, there's no minimum, there's no maximum. You can start practicing. You don't actually even have to play with real money. Maybe follow along with our picks and follow our picks and see how we're doing. If you guys want to get into it, like I said, referral code, talk to me. If you got my number, Instagram, whatever, DM, text, call, whatever you guys need, I got you. Okay. I want to try to make you guys money this season. Got to share the wealth. For myself, so those are the opportunities I have for you guys. For myself right now, I have all those, as well as I do have a couple bookies that I play with. I have a pick'em. I'm in one free one and one that we're doing 3 picks a week, $20. Whoever's got the most points at the end, winner takes all. That one, it is spread betting, so you do have to take the team plus the spread. You get 3 picks. I have 2 survivor leagues with a mulligan up until week 4. Those were $25 buy-ins, but you can mulligan for I think 25. And I also have both fantasy leagues for money. One of them $50 buy-in. There's a first, second, and money back third prize, and the other one's a winner take all. And lastly, just personal bets. Like last night, I went over to my Chicago Bears friend's house to watch the game. Bet him $50, came out on top. So it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways and opportunities for the both of us to make money. So hopefully you guys get in on it. If you guys just want to play around, have fun, like I said, there's Fliff and Onyx available. But finally, I want to get into our week 2 predictions, favorite matchups, favorite plays, maybe some player props for you guys. Just want to get into it. But like I said, most of it will be posted to NMI. Go on our Instagram, follow me there. I don't really post the bets to my main Instagram account, but you can DM me and ask me for them if you don't want to follow the podcast account. but I suggest following it. Like I said, the plays will mainly be posted to my stories on there, to just stuff on there, DM me on there, whatever. So I'll have them on there. Also, if you have my number, call or text. I will send you plays. I try to help everybody out. My plays are free. I think if you charge for plays, it's almost like you're betting that, or you're kind of assuring that you make money, obviously, off your plays, but they're not always going to hit. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not 100% of the time ever. That if I charge for plays, I'd feel bad if I went on an absolute cold streak and lost you guys money, or if you chose to tail me and we didn't win. I would feel bad charging for picks because you guys are expecting to make money, right? I do them for free. Let's make money together. There's no secrets, but let's get in real quick. Um, week 2, Jake Moody has been cut from the 49ers. Huge. If you're a 49ers fan, that guy missed so many kicks last season, cost me slips. He missed 2 field goals on Sunday. 49ers almost lost the game. So thank God. Actually, not for his career, don't thank God. But if you're a 49ers fan, you're thanking God that he has been cut from the team. Hopefully he finds success with someone else. But the Niners, welcome to possibly winning the rest of the season, because Jake Moody was not it for the team. Getting into our week 2 predictions to cap off the episode. Thursday night, we have what I think is going to be an absolute game. We have the 1-0 Commanders versus the 1-0 Packers. Right now, the spread is set at 3.5 to Green Bay. Green Bay is at home. Oh, they always play great at home. I think they're a top 3 team right now. I saw the power rankings this morning. I think Green Bay was sitting at number 3. So I think it was like Eagles, Bills, Packers. I forget. Just going off memory, I remember Packers were number 3. I like them to cover spread. If you need to, buy a point, maybe 2. But I am going to take them on the money line. I did pair them with Vikings. I have them on a slip with the Vikings from last night. Packers money line, small slip just to win some funds for the week. Going into Sunday matchups, there's some divisional games, which will be fun. We have the 10 a.m. slate. We have Patriots, Dolphins. I'm going with my bias again. I'm going to back my Patriots. I think Tua and the Dolphins look horrible. I'm going with the Patriots for sure. Possibly a Travion Henderson touchdown. I like that. I like the Ravens versus the Browns for a bounce back game. Ravens are at home. They're favored by 11 points. So we'll see how that pans out. I would almost take a teaser if you're going to take that. The money line, they're probably like a minus 500. I don't have the odds sitting in front of me. We have the next game. We have the Bengals Jaguars. Bengals are at home. They're only favored by 3.5. Like I spoke about earlier, Jaguars looked great. Bengals looked mediocre. But anytime I've seen the Bengals come off a mediocre game, Jamar Chase goes for 100, 2 touchdowns. Joe Burrow throws for 300 plus. That team gets a couple interceptions on defense. But against the Jaguars, we'll see how that goes. Should be pretty tight. 3.5 is probably an accurate spread for that game. So I would almost take Bengals money line to be safe, or Jaguars. I would take the plus 3.5, maybe buy a 1.5 to 5, even 6, or play a teaser on that game one way or the other. The Giants Cowboys, both 0-1, should be going to the Cowboys. They're favored by 6 points right now. But again, it's a divisional matchup. Should be very tight. The Cowboys looked great against the Eagles, like I said earlier, but the Giants upgraded their defense in the divisional. Doesn't matter how good one team is or the other. Could be the worst team in the league versus the best. If it's a divisional game, we know it's going to be tight. Cowboys are at home. 10 a.m. game. I don't know which way the sun's coming up, but I know they do have that one window where the sun shines through, messed up a couple of the plays last year for them. So we'll see. We have another divisional game, 10 a.m. Bears-Lions. Coming off a loss. I think it was a divisional loss. I got to look up the stat. I'll get it for you guys in a second. The Lions are 17-3-1, I think, against the spread. They're favored by 6 points against the Bears. Take it. That one seems almost free. The Lions should have a bounce back. Bears are always going to be the Bears. If you need to, buy some points, play a teaser, but Lions is the way to go there. The next 10 a.m. game, San Francisco on the road versus the Saints. San Francisco is favored by 4.5 points. I really like San Francisco. New kicker, Sia Moody. They played pretty well. Their defense looks good again. Purdy's out and Kittle's out, but I think they can still get the job done. Tight ends are replaceable. They can get someone else there. Purdy, he started to look kind of mediocre at best last season towards the end. Maybe fill someone in that spot, and we'll see how they play. I forget who their backup is. I'm going to have to look into that. He's still questionable. It was a shoulder and toe injury, so we don't know for sure if he's completely out. Jawan Jennings questionable. Kittle probably out. Ayuk still out, and more. But they got Mac Jones. I like the 49ers. Either way you cut it, going to New Orleans on a 4.5 spread. I would take them, like I said, if you're feeling like it's going to be close, buy points, play teasers. There's always ways around it. There's ways to make money. Bills Jets in New York, the little divisional game. Like I said, doesn't matter how good the teams are. Depending on where they're at in the league, it's going to be close. It's a divisional game. Bills are favored by 6.5. I don't think the Jets played bad. The Steelers are a great team. Bills played all right at best, I would say, up until the end. So we'll see how that game pans out. I may just stay away from it in general. I don't know if I want to take Buffalo 6.5, but coming off a win, they could have momentum and cover. I will probably be staying off that game, but I lean towards the Bills. Seahawks Steelers. I love the Steelers in this spot, favored by 3 points at home. I would take it, either buy points, get the teaser, whatever you need to do, but I like the Steelers there. Moving on, the last 10 o'clock game, we have the Rams at the Titans. We have the Rams favored by 5.5 points right now. I think the Rams cover this for sure. They are a lot better of a team than the Broncos. Better coaching experience, veteran QB, defense coming back, rolling. Puka looks great. I just think that the Rams cover this, no doubt. Could be another free pick. Panthers Cardinals. Now here, I am going to stay off this game. Arizona's favored by 6.5. I kind of like the Panthers to cover 6.5 points. They are at the Cardinals' home, but Cardinals didn't look great. I think they could pull it off if they get some Trey McBride touchdowns, some Marvin Harrison deep shots. If they just start getting them to fire on all cylinders, I think the Cardinals could cover that 6.5. I'll probably stay off this game completely, but I kind of lean more towards the home team here. I would buy a couple points and maybe go Cardinals or take the Cardinals money line, especially against the Panthers who were struggling last week. But we'll see. This is going to be an interesting game to watch and see how it turns out. That's the first 1 o'clock game on the slate. Excuse me. We have the Broncos Colts going at 1:05 p.m. Denver's actually favored by 2.5 points in Indy, which is crazy. I lean the Colts this game all the way. Bo Nix looked horrible on Sunday versus the Titans. The Colts looked amazing versus the Dolphins. I don't know if it's because the Dolphins suck or the Colts are good now, but we'll see. Like I said, it's week 2. It's really hard to make assumptions and make predictions, but I'm leaning Colts to cover that 2.5. Maybe take them on an alt spread, take them on a teaser. You no need to buy points here unless you want to go the other way, but I would say alt spread, teaser, something like that. Take the Colts for sure at home. 2.5 small spread versus the Broncos. I think the Colts pull that one off. The 125 game, we have the Chiefs at home versus the Eagles on a Super Bowl rematch. This game is going to be exciting. It's going to be on Fox. Right now, the Eagles are favored by 1 point. Could swing either way. We do find out today that Jalen Carter has been suspended for this game for spitting on Dak Prescott last week. He got fined, I think, $50,000 as well as a 1-game suspension. So Eagles are going to be down on defense as far as that run game. We could see the Chiefs run game pick up, possibly do some things in this game, but I kind of lean towards the Chiefs here. I like them on the rematch, bounce back after week 1. That Cowboys-Eagles game was really close for comfort, but being divisional, it's going to be close. Chiefs are looking for revenge. They're going to come in with a lot more. Eagles are still riding that Super Bowl win high. So give me the Chiefs. I'll take the point, keep the points, whatever, on the money line. Maybe even alt spread. I always like alt spreads like -2.5, -1.5, because you're starting to get a little bit better odds. So I would take either one there. And lastly, Sunday night prime time, we have the Falcons in Minnesota. Get some skull chants. Skull! Skull! I love the Viking skull chants at home. They are favored by 4.5 points. The Falcons come into this game looking for revenge, coming in for a W, and you got the Vikings who are. I will see how they play. They looked good towards the end. They started rolling. I like the Vikings only due to the fact that they have the better coaching experience and I think the better defense. But what scares me is that the Falcons offense is really good. They are rolling with the same O coordinator, same coaching from last year. That scares me. So I almost want to take Minnesota 4.5 at home. I almost want to take the Falcons here with the points, maybe buy some points, maybe take the teaser. I don't know if I'd take them straight up, but come Sunday, I will have all my picks locked in. I'll have the Thursday night football pick locked in before Wednesday. Check the Instagram, hit me up, whatever you need. Sunday, I'll have those picks locked in by Saturday night, Sunday morning. So again, check the Instagram, call or text me. But based off face value, just looking at it, week one matchups and everything, those are the teams that I like. And last but not least, Monday we get 2 games. We have a Buccaneers Texans game at 4 p.m. and we have the Chargers Raiders game at 7 p.m. Buccaneers are playing in Houston against the Texans. Houston's favored by 3 points. I personally like the Buccaneers here. Texans, I don't know how they're going to play. I'm not a huge Texans fan. They started to fall apart at the end of last season, and the Buccaneers, momentum rolling, going 1-0. I kind of like them to either cover or straight up. But again, like I said, I'll have the pick solidified either Monday morning, Sunday night for you guys with that one. Face value, I almost want to take Buccaneers here. And then going into Monday Night Football, Chargers at the Raiders, I will be taking the Chargers. I have them to win the division. I think that they roll through the Raiders. Although it is a divisional game, I can't stress this enough. It will be close. It's in Vegas. Chargers are favored by 3.5. If you need to buy a point, make it 2.5. So you got to buy a field goal. It's always almost a safe bet, especially on the 3.5 spread. But Chargers, I think for sure take that game. Throw them in your parlays, throw them on your money lines, whatever you need. I think they take that game for sure. I'm not going to be changing that pick. I like the Chargers at the Raiders. Ashton Jeanty, we'll see how he plays, but hopefully the kid has a bounce back game, and we have Omarion Hampton for the Chargers. I hope he has a bigger game as well. Just see the battle of the first round running backs go to work. So I think it should be an exciting game. Let's make some money again this week. Like I said, follow me on Instagram. Follow our podcast account, most importantly, NMI Sport Report. Follow my Instagram, Dylan Code 3, and follow us on Spotify. Podcast will be dropped on YouTube, Spotify. Share it with your friends. Share it everywhere you can for me, please. Like I said, I'll have more guests on this season. I will be dropping episodes weekly, probably on Tuesdays to just recap and give predictions. And leave a comment down below. Did you agree or disagree with anything? Who's your Super Bowl winner? I want to hear from you guys. Who the Super Bowl winner that you think is going to take it this season? And maybe your favorite play this week or how much money you won last week. Just give me some insights. I'd love to see you guys, and I'll talk to you guys again next week. Thanks for tuning in.